So I've been a little bit under the weather, and because of that, I wanted to um, do a little Bible study. It's been a little while. Well, I shouldn't say that it's been a little while since I've studied the Bible, um, but I have majority of my time studying the Bible has been um, to argue with people, to dismantle arguments that are brought as weaponization against um, people groups. So that's, I've been studying the Bible, in perpetuity my whole life. But there was a shift from like using the Bible to guide how I live to using the Bible to combat the way people attack how other people live. So, but today I went in and I used the Bible to actually go deeper into how to use the Bible actually on how to live. And the reason for that is I personally do not read the Bible prescriptively. I don't read the Bible literally. I think that the Bible was comprised for good purpose to give structure and process to a new religion. The same as all religious texts, and the same as, the studies that we have for psychological development and process like this. The Bible was comprised to organize all of the thoughts. Now, I think that process was taken advantage of by people who used it once again to establish control. The saving grace of the Bible, what makes the Bible still special, is the fact that these teachings that are included in the Bible are good. They are good teachings. They are primarily from people who were seeking to further understand the teachings of Christ, as we reference the New Testament. And then, the Old Testament was people attempting to further understand the system of law that was established by Moses and continued to grow for a growing community of Jews. And I think that still has a lot of value, especially when you reference, and you think about where society was in its development at that time. So I still value the Bible, but just in a very, very different way. So, but I know that there's a lot of people that still, were raised going to the Bible for everything. And I think that dismantling that wholly for people who are not, capable, and I don't mean capable with disrespect or to put anybody down, but who just don't have the desire or interest, attention span, or the ability to process written text. Like there's so many reasons for people to not go deeper into understanding the Bible and its historical context and the translation from Hebrew to Greek and Greek into English and English into English, well, Greek into Latin into English, and all of that, and that they don't have the desire to unpack that, but they still have a special connection to the Bible because through a religious upbringing or a conversion from a life that they didn't want to live anymore into a safe, guided, structured life through religion. To completely take the Bible and just see ya, is unfair and truthfully unkind. But we can unpack that for people. They don't have to do it themselves. And if we do it thoughtfully without creating a rule book, a new rule book, and we do it with the understanding that, in the clarification that, hey, this is how I unpacked this portion of this book that you value so much, and not saying, hey, you have to follow this, I'm right and everybody else has been wrong. That's not the move. And so if at any point in reading through this Bible study that I've done, it feels like I'm preaching this is the right way to read these scriptures, that's not my intention. That some of it may read that way because that's how I was taught, was with authority to speak to what is right, in the same way that all other evangelical Christians were taught to speak with authority for the purpose of conversion, to say, this is what's right, believe it, and convert, right? I have that authority, and I write with that authority. I have that authoritative style, but I don't have any authority. I don't have any authority over you and how you understand your own spirituality, your own faith. And that's the problem in the evangelical church, is that it operates out of authority and it exploits behavior. And what this Bible study goes into is sin, and how sin was and is still used primarily as a form of exploitation. And I conclude the Bible study in clearly defining why I think that is still done and what the purpose is. And it's pretty simple, and I think that many of you already will agree with it. But that's the purpose of doing this Bible study, is to look to the Bible as a way to understand sin, so that we can think about all the things that we were taught and not dismantle them and not throw them out, but to reframe them to serve us the way religion should serve us, and that is structure and guidance on how to live a life free of shame and guilt, and to have some, connectivity to how we can all be better. And I think that that's consistent to the teachings of Christ, that it's about love, grace, and forgiveness towards others. Even when we come outside of the structure that religion provides for us, it's grace, love. And that's consistent to so many other faith practices. That's consistent to so many other religions. And, I think Jesus was tapping into that. You can see some of the influences from other religions in the way that he approaches deconstructing the Jewish faith and reconstructing it. In this time where everybody is deconstructing, let's remember that when we're done, we can leave and be done with spirituality, and nothing terrible is going to happen to you if you decide that religion and faith practice is not something for you. Nothing terrible is going to happen to you. You're not going to go to hell. That's the exploitation of sin in many ways, but there's a even more sinister purpose for that exploitation. But that's the fear-mongering that's used to exploit sin, obviously. And nothing bad's going to happen to you if you decide that you don't want to practice faith or spirituality anymore. You're fine. You're good. Let's be friends. That doesn't bother me. But if it was integral to how you live your life and you're sad and grieving it, there are steps to reconstructing it without becoming an asshole, and I think that reconstructing faith is very, very important. Reconstructing faith practice, I should say. And I want to explain what I mean by that. Like, we don't build faith. Like, we have faith, and you have faith in each other. We have faith in systems. We have faith, or we don't. We have faith in a lot of portions of our life. Faith practice to me means practicing faith in spirituality, the connectivity of our spirits to each other and to God, however you might define God. So reconstructing faith and creating paths to reconstructing faith practice and reconstructing American Christianity, specifically American Christianity, which has reached other parts of the world. But we have to reconstruct American Christianity because there's so many people who rely on it, and that's okay. And when we only deconstruct, the people who rely on it are filled with fear that they will lose the structure that has served them well in going through life. And if we can create a path to new thought and new ideas that still serve them the way that they need their faith practice to serve them, then we can eliminate the harm and the exploitation of that faith practice. And that's worth doing, because we can't stop the evangelical church from all of the harm that they're causing in the political atmosphere if we don't move people from the evangelical church into positive, good practices of Christianity, because they rely on it. And that's okay for them. If we want to say that we are able to rely on science or psychology or mysticism or astronomy, behavioral typing systems, if we rely on those things, we shouldn't shame or guilt somebody for relying on religion and their spirituality, which is what has started to happen. We have shamed all of the Christians. And so in that shame, they double down. Natural response. This is a natural response. So what I hope to do, and what I hope to inspire other people to do, is to deconstruct. That's awesome. Reconstruct if you need religion. And if you're capable to reconstruct, then help other people move through their deconstruction. And what if we can we can reconstruct American Christianity so that all of the people who rely on it don't have to deconstruct. They can move, right? They don't have to dismantle this thing that has served them so well. They can grow, they can move. And as Reverend David Perez says, they can evolve. And Christianity has evolved, and spirituality has evolved, and it will continue to evolve. And a lot of this, I just want to give roses to Reverend David Perez, who has inspired me and guided me towards this mission, if you will. And yeah, it's political for me. It's political for me. And that's also okay, right? I love politics. I'm happy to talk about politics at the table. But not every table. But I love politics. I love debating. I love debating faith and theology. And as everybody knows, I'll do that in the comment section patiently and kindly. But it's just one of those things where, this can be a mission, not of conversion, not of evangelizing, but supporting the American Christians that need support in making changes in the way they operate to cause less harm. So if you're inspired by that, read the message. It's about sin and how to rethink sin and why sin is such a major talking point for the evangelical church, and dig into the politics on that. So I hope you dig it, and I hope this video inspired you as well.